here today. It kind of was leaked yesterday. Everybody thinks that's pretty accurate, and that's going to be the case. On the line right now to fill us in on all of it is Alan Skorsky, and Alan is a political activist, served as an advisor to congressional campaigns, and the author of Israel Betrayed. Good morning, Alan.
Good morning. It's great to be with you. Unfortunately, it's within 24 hours of one of the worst terror attacks France has seen, and again, it's an assault on all of us, and it kind of just casts a cloud over everything that's going on in the world today.
Yeah, and it shows that these people will use whatever means are available to them. It doesn't have to be an semi-automatic weapon or a bomb or they'll use whatever they can. In this case, it was a truck.
Right, and again, and in this case, remember, with terrorism, they work on their own timetable.
Yeah.
We have Secret Service intelligence all over the world trying to pick up chatter, trying to monitor what's going on, but they can play us better than we can monitor them. And we're seeing what's happening.
Yeah, that's the dirty little secret, isn't it? Is that we can all talk about how we're going to go out there and we're going to fix this problem, but the tough problem is this is so unorthodox, and there's no. We don't have any country to bomb. These are terrorist people that live in the crevices and it's hard to pull them out.
Right, and unfortunately, all we get, or we primarily get, is platitudes from politicians. I hate when I hear things from President Obama like we should let fear control us.
Yeah.
Again, it's all platitude. There are no solutions. There's no real acknowledgement of the threat that's against us. It's dismissed as this is everyday life, and we should just not take it as seriously as a threat. And they think that by speaking nicely, that somehow we are disarming them. When Russia invaded Crimea, Barack Obama said this is a sign of weakness. Recently, he said the same thing about the terrorists, that they're attacking us is showing us how weak they are. I don't know if he's using reverse psychology, like when we were kids. Like when a boy pulled a girl's hair, it's, because he likes you. And it seems that that's about the level of seriousness that they take this. Again, I'm not privy to their private meetings, but what they tell us publicly, it doesn't seem like they take it as seriously of a threat as it really is, or as the terrorists really have in their own mind.
Let me add, it looks like Trump is going to select Indiana Governor Mike Pence. That seems to be all but done. Just not announced it, and we're being told that it will come out over the weekend. I did feel that I didn't like Trump's tweet yesterday. Before the bodies were counted, Trump was announcing, as if that's what everyone was thinking about at that time, his announcement of VP. The first thing he announced before anything was that I'm not going to make the announcement tomorrow. I was uncomfortable with that.
It's funny. He's a little bit too attached to his Twitter account. And again, I'll say for the record, I am supporting Donald Trump.
Yeah.
But he's very quick on that trigger on the Twitter. And I think that part of it is because he lost control of the situation. I think he was planning on controlling the media and how everything was going to be rolled out, and everything got ahead of him.
And you're a strategist. You'd say it would have been a great story later this morning for his campaign to come out and say that, Mr. Trump has decided that in light of everything, they're going to step out of the limelight today. That would have come off well. But Trump coming out before the bodies were counted and his Twitter saying, because of this, I'm going to cancel this big event. I just thought it came off incredibly pretentious. But that's just my take
again,
on it.
It's not something that I'll disagree with you with necessarily. Yeah. But again, though, at least he kept it very brief, and he didn't make it into an entire story. Just like he's going to push it off.
Yeah.
There was too much going around him, and I think he just wants to forget it because the news was dominating it. The truth is that I think the news took it away from him. Yesterday afternoon at 1 o'clock on the Drudge Report, they were already reporting that Mike Pence was picked.
Yeah.
Fox News wasn't even reporting that, but it was all over, and I think he was just saying, let's just put this to rest now. But I don't think that this was really about him trying to control the media or the news the way maybe in the past he was trying to. I think he's just trying to say, let's just put this to rest now because everyone keeps talking about it.
What about
so that's what I think he was going with.
Quickly, your take on Pence. What does this do for his campaign?
You know what? I like Mike Pence. Truth is that my favorite would have been Newt Gingrich because that's just my personality. I like somebody who's very aggressive. But, as Newt said, you don't need two pirates as president and vice president. I think Mike Pence really balances out who Donald Trump is, his more aggressive personality versus Pence, who is much more even-keeled. And he certainly will bring, I think he'll bring around, I won't say all of them, but a significant number of the never-Trumpers, because it really was important for Donald Trump to get at least a significant majority of his own party, because as much as he's bringing in new people, you still cannot win an election without bringing in the overwhelming majority of your own party.
Sure.
So I think that this certainly helps tremendously. Mike Pence has a good record as far as the economy goes in Indiana. He's always been known as a very reliable conservative. Mm-hmm. He has relationships in Washington.
And a great deal of legislative experience, executive experience. All that is probably important. Again, Alan, I appreciate your time. Tough day to be talking about this, but again, thanks for taking the time with us this morning.
So thanks for having me, and all the best.
Alan Skorsky. Also, we have on the line from Fox News, Kevin Mellot. We talked to Kevin Mellot. He's a terrorism expert, global security expert, president of Erase Enterprises, international security expert, and he's on the line after this tragic event yesterday. Kevin, good morning. What do we know here this morning?
Well, we basically had an individual take a large box truck. He attacked the Bastille Day celebrations in Nice, France. The setup there is at nighttime, they always shoot fireworks off in the water. It's on the Mediterranean, north side of the Mediterranean. So there's a promenade area. The walk is above the beach area. It's a walkway along between the road that runs along the beach and the beach sand itself. And that's where everybody stands and watches the fireworks. So while they were shooting the fireworks and everybody's looking out at the fireworks, he drove up on the promenade from the road and then just drove down it and ran everybody over. The police engaged him at the end of a mile. So keep in mind, he was driving over people for 1 mile.
Wow.
The start to the finish point where he had. And of course, everybody's distracted looking at the fireworks. They're not looking behind him and to the side. So he drives that mile. They engage him in gunfire, and he jumps out, yells Allah Akbar, and he's got guns and hand grenades, and he gets into that, and then they kill him.
Here's the scary thing of this. How does this not happen in the United States?
Because it's not in their best interest yet. It's based on their time schedule and what gets them the motivation they need to get the people in the field to do what they need them to do.
And France's reaction, you wonder, how will France react here? What are your thoughts? How do they respond?
Well, they've had pretty good hardcore response in the past regarding going and hitting targets in the Middle East and North Africa. The problem for France is that they've allowed this, how should we say, laid-back approach to develop over a long time with North African and Middle Eastern refugees and people seeking asylum coming in, but not assimilating with the French lifestyle.
Right.
So, you've got people that are in that area that still believe in a total different cultural and a total different legal system than what the French have. And they haven't done anything about it.
As far as we are concerned, and really the whole world, how do we go after an enemy like this without giving up certain privacy rights and certain rights that we have in a free society? How do we attack these guys any other way?
Yeah, well, there's not really a lot you can do once they're in the country, unless you're going to monitor. And, of course, that's what we were doing with the NSA program, and everybody made them stop that.
Yeah.
So, my viewpoint, I'm very pragmatic about it. I know how to fix the problem. I know how to deal with these guys. You just have to have the public get to the point where they don't want to take any more pain and punishment. And we're not there yet. But if it gets bad enough, we have the technology, the personnel, and the training to deal with this. We just don't have the political willpower.
What is interesting is go.
Well, in the big picture, they got to go after and take out the leadership. I'm sure this guy's going to be connected to ISIL. We've got to take out the leadership and devastate them, not just play small ball with them. We got to go downtown Raqqa, take out their property, take out their headquarters, take out their communications, and it's going to be a massive military strike of nature that's going to do that. But until we do that, You can keep knocking off the guys one at a time at the front line.
Yeah.
You're not going to stop the ideology.
Well, what is incredibly interesting out of all of this is the world really is, they're facing the world. You would think that, and even Muslim countries in most cases.
Well, yeah. Well, remember that ISIL believes that there are a lot of false Muslims in the world. They call them false Muslims. It's really funny. We call ISIL extremists. They think they're mainstream Islam, and everybody who doesn't agree with them are too liberal or false Muslims.
Right.
So that was the big split between them and Al-Qaeda, because originally they were Al-Qaeda in Iraq. They split because they wanted to kill other Muslims that weren't following the true direction of the Prophet. And Al-Qaeda Central is like, nah, we're not doing that, plus they would lose funding if they did. So ISIL went and broke off, started doing it, but then they raided all the banks in Iraq and took over the oil fields, so they didn't have to get outside funding. So that's the big split between those two groups. But they both have a goal of world domination of Islam, and you convert or you die.
Kevin Mellot, thanks so much for your time.
Okay.
And just such a terrible day to. And Andrew, I did not realize. I know you had a question, Andrew. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
He had a hard out at 24 after. I didn't realize that this guy drove for 1.2 miles, running over people. And as he hit these people, he stepped on the gas. It's incredible.
One of the things I wanted to ask Kevin was, he talked about taking out their technology in 2016. That's got to be one of the biggest weapons I think that we should have to use, or we should have at our disposal, is attacking. I mean, you mean with cyber experts and technology today, we can't go in?
Wait a minute. Here's the problem: is that when the NSA was, these are just people. I'm not saying, but these are people. The problem is these are just people.
You're
we
fighting
may find
an idea,
this guy's
right.
just this guy is nuts. He caught on to this ideology, like what happened in Orlando. How do we track down every single person without stomping on civil rights of our own civil rights? I mean, look what happened with the NSA. We wanted to stop that program.
Absolutely. The latest from the AP is that they found a photo identification inside the truck. The photo ID belongs to a 31-year-old Tunisian man who they describe as a petty criminal. They're waiting DNA confirmation before they get into who they believe he is.
Got a break. We'll do birthdays and news coming up. Hold tight, 725 WIBX.